Okay, it is 12:06, 11 29 2015. Okay, so we have leaders gather to save the world. So this is off a Drudge Report, and I don't know what's going on with that there. They're wearing white, flowing gowns. From what I understand, the protests, there's been some violence and whatnot, but now what I wanted to show you, because I found this interesting, yesterday, Saturday, the 28th. So yesterday we had the same thing. Leaders gather to save the world. Except here was the picture. Okay. So I saw this picture and immediately I was like, wow. CC, really? Okay. C, third letter, 33. Climate change. This is what this stands for. And that's when it really hit me. Climate change. That's why they changed it from global warming to climate change, was to be able to represent this 33 within these two eights right here, which would be the 28th as well of the 11th month. So this is very coded stuff. Very coded, in your face coded stuff. Okay. But is it any surprise to many of you truth seekers? It should not be that big of a surprise, but I am going to show you something that's very interesting. So I began with one up here. So we go around and we count. And we end up in the center with 33. Okay, so when we look at this United Nations logo, what we have is 33 segments ending up with the center. I thought that was very interesting. And I also thought I would share it with everybody. Because it's no coincidence that they have climate change as 33 in the center of this logo. So your leaders are gathering to save the world. Okay, the true story should be your leaders back in 1985 were burning holes in the ozone layer trying to save the world, and created a scenario which became global warming. And now, for all we know, this could be climate cooling with their chemtrailing. Okay, so I made a 1985 reference in my climate change video today, so I wanted to include this as well. Back in 85, me and a friend were going up to his place in New York from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and my truck broke down in Pennsylvania, and we were hitchhiking, and I changed into my uniform to be able to, you know, soften some of the public's heart there and give us a ride. And a guy picked us up in a brand new truck. He had a plastic badge on, and when he found out that we recently had come back from Grenada, he divulged some top secret information to us. I went searching for this page a couple months ago, not particularly for this page, but just for information to correlate my the revelation I received from this individual about burning holes, the space shuttle program burning holes in the ozone layer to prevent an ice age from covering North America. Okay, so here we are. Deedajur Media or whatever. I'm not familiar with this site. I did do a little bit of perusing on it and saw some very liberal ideas being expressed. Nevertheless, all I was looking for was something to correlate what that gentleman had told us back in 1985. Okay, ever since the ozone hole was first discovered in 1985, chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, and halon have been singled out as the main culprits. Little attention has been paid to the contribution of space shuttle missions to the depletion of stratospheric ozone and the weakening of Earth's protection from radiation. Okay, on each shuttle flight, the solid fuel twin 45-meter booster rockets release some 187 tons of ozone-destroying chlorine and 7 tons of nitrogen into the atmosphere, as well as 387 tons of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas that contributes to global warming. Some 300 launches of the space shuttle can eliminate Earth's ozone layer in its protective capacity, according to Russian aerospace engineer Valery Brudakov. Okay, so the effects of the rocket fuel have been exacerbated by experiments conducted on Earth's upper atmosphere since the beginning of the space shuttle program in 1981. Okay, so astronauts on board the NASA Space Lab 3 mission studied the effects of injecting gases into the ionosphere from the orbit maneuvering system. According to biometrics expert Rosalie Bertel, author of Planet Earth, the latest weapon of war. Okay, so having found that they could induce ionospheric holes, researchers began to create holes during the day and night over Millstone, Connecticut, and Arecibo, Puerto Rico. Okay, a 47-second OMS burn on 29 July of 85. Now that's the one I believe that person was referring to, was right there. Okay, produced the largest ionospheric hole to date, dumping some 830 kilograms of exhaust into the ionosphere at sunset. Bartel wrote a 6-second 68 kilogram OMS release above Connecticut in August 85 produced air glow that covered over 400,000 square kilometers. In 86, civilian scientists discovered the existence of a second ozone hole in the Antarctic, as the first hole caused by nuclear testing had begun to heal. So all I'm trying to point out here is that this whole global warming, climate change, Masonic operation basically was, as this person divulged unto me back in '85, it was to prevent the ice age from covering the north of the equator, obviously, and therefore they went about their mission, which was to allow more of the sun's heat and radiation through the protective layer, thus reducing the ice and keeping it contained in the north, at the North Pole. So now, as I've lived my life through the 90s and 2000, it makes me wonder, all this global warming talk having been attributed to man-made global warming. I mean, I guess that's not really a lie, but when you start to include automobiles and the CO2 that we and animals exhale as being, well, contributing factors, to me that's kind of taking it's smoke and mirrors as far as I'm concerned, because this was a deliberate scientific mission to accomplish a goal, and that goal was accomplished. However, the parameters concerning the goal may have been exceeded, and therefore they've actually needed to engage in massive global chemtrailing and other forms of weather-related scientific approaches, such as HARP up in Alaska, and now we know there's other installations globally that basically, I don't want to go so far as to say that I believe that they've taken the place of the space shuttle missions, but when we, I guess this would be a good time to include the other conspiratorial side of this, just so you can check this out for yourself. 1968. I wanted his YouTube channel. Okay, so now I would encourage anybody who's especially interested in the rock and roll band Rush, which those letters happen to add to 66, to check out all his videos, especially the ones on the greatest story never told. But for this, what we're looking at here is this video, okay, the Challenger hoax, and within it, I don't know if this is actually related to the reasoning behind ending the space shuttle program in a manner that was totally and as far away from actually manipulating the weather, globally speaking. And of course, when we're speaking in these terms, we have to realize that the legal issues concerning all this would be huge. Okay, the legal ramifications of altering the weather from even a corporate standpoint, it could, economically speaking, you would think it would be able to wipe out any government that was actually found guilty of partaking in such endeavors. So nevertheless, I do believe that this is related to what we're talking about here in the climate change video, and so I wanted to bring that forward. Okay, I'm going to leave a link, this link, as well. So now I found it to be extremely interesting. What are the chances that a guy actually would find out this level of information purely by hitchhiking on the freeway after his truck broke down? But I did want to include this information in my recording 41 concerning the 33s of the climate change and the UN's logo. So they've already taken it. I guess the main story is that they've already taken it upon themselves to save the world, and they want you to believe that it is they who are able to save the world. And isn't that interesting? The word able to save the world brings me back to Genesis with Cain and Abel. So it's all very interesting stuff, in my opinion. I've been studying this a long time, so to be able to pick this out, it's not conspiratorial. I'm trying to show you that it's not conspiratorial. It's literally in your face.